Have you ever thought about how difficult it was to communicate during the Stone Age? Have you ever bothered to ask your parents or the people older than you how they communicated during their time? Today we want to look at what an email is, but before that, let us quickly look at the methods our ancestors and the people who lived before us used for communication purposes. Some days ago, life was not as easy as we might have thought it to be. Our ancestors had to blow horns for communication purposes. Do you know what a horn is? Yes, right in the picture there, that is a horn. Whenever there was an emergency, a case of emergency, the elders or anybody who was trained to blow a horn would have to blow that horn. Let's say a deadly disease breaks out or a certain community is under attack. The elders and anybody else trained to blow the horn will have to blow as hard as possible. This would then alert people of the next village or society, depending on the distance, that the other people are in trouble and they need assistance from them. The other method was the use of smoke signal. This method was used to communicate about an approaching enemy. Let's say my clan is under attack, the people of my community are under attack. One of us would then have to run as fast as possible, set the smoking stick. By then, people knew which tree could smoke as fast as possible, and climb on top of the mountain or on a tree so that the smoke is seen by people from another village as fast as possible. So life was so complicated by then. You do not just set fire for the sake of setting it, because otherwise you send a wrong message to the next village. If you set fire just for the sake of doing it, you are likely to make other people travel a long distance to come and save you, which is so unfair. So laws and orders were really strict and had to be followed. Rock painting was also one of the methods used during our ancestors' time. Here in Namibia, we have a place at Brandberg where the rock paintings are still vivid. People who lived in mountainous areas by then, they painted on rocks to communicate their presence, to mark their territory, and to communicate to others about the danger within that area. In some societies, people used an instrument called a heliograph. This is a device which was used to transmit messages over a long distance. It used a mirror attached to a surveying device to direct a beam of light to a receiving station. So life was just so complicated by then. It is not like now, because now technology is just on our fingertips. When you don't understand anything, you WhatsApp your friends, you go on YouTube and search for videos, you check on Instagram and see how others are doing it, you go on Twitter, as long as you have internet, you go on Facebook, wherever, to source for information. Here, we want to concentrate on an email as a method of communication. What is an email? An email is a way of distributing messages by electronic means. This means that you are transmitting messages from one computer user to the other or to more computer recipients. And why is it called an email? It is an email, and that E in front of mail stands for electronic. So it is electronic mail. An email is one of the best modern methods of communicating. It is a fast method of communication, it is cheap and accessible, and this is one of the reasons why nowadays business is booming, because no matter how big your organization is, you just compile one email and distribute or send it to everybody else in your organization. Communication is so fast, tasks are done fast because communication is sparkling clear. As a learner or as a modern person, there are aspects on email that you need to know. For instance, in the email template, you'll find there's subheadings or subtitles. We have to, CC, BCC, and subject. All these have different functions. They do not carry the same function. So let us look at what they require us to do. For instance, at the section where there is to, that is where you have to type in the address of the person whom you are writing to. For example, abiatalpm@gmail.com, meaning that you are writing to Abiatal, and that is an email address that you have to insert there. It's labeled CC. CC stands for carbon copy. If you want to send this email to other people, type their email address here where it's written CC. But remember that the main person to whom you have addressed this email will see all the names of the other people you have sent the email to. When sending one email to many people, do not forget to separate each name or email address with a semicolon. So if you have a big company and you want the message to go to everybody, you insert everybody's address here. Is that clear? One day you are going to be a manager and you'll just have to do that, okay? We also have a section for BCC. This is short for blind carbon copy. So that means the email addresses that you type here cannot be seen by other people to whom the email is sent. If you want to gossip or to hide that you didn't send an email to some other people, you insert the person that you are snitching with there. When you put an email address there, nobody sees it. So be careful when you send your emails. This one is a blind carbon copy. Nobody will see it. Meaning that whatever you are gossiping about or whatever important information you want this person to receive, he or she is protected because nobody will know or see that she was sent the email as well. We have the subject section. This has to be a summary of the email's content. What are you going to write about in your email? It is similar to the subject line in a letter. So it's important to always write a subject so that the receiver knows what the email is going to be about. Do not keep somebody speculating. Just put a short heading there, then the person or the receiver knows that this email is going to talk about this and that, but not to keep the person in darkness, okay? There are also some icons that you need to understand when you are compiling an email. These icons above there have different functions too. None of them perform a similar task to the other. For instance, the send button allows you to send your email. When you are done compiling, you only press that button if you are really sure that you want to send. This is a very delicate button because once you have sent something, you'll never unsend it. meaning that it can stay in space or wherever it's kept for ages. So don't send things that you will regret. With internet, things can be retrieved by your boss, your husband, your wife-to-be, or anybody else. So make sure that you only send what you intend to send. Do not send things that you will regret later. The second icon is for saving. This allows you to save your message. Let's assume you are compiling a message and then something comes up. You can always save it so that when you have enough time, you continue with it. Okay, don't forget to save when something comes up. The next button is for attaching. When you want to share documents, pictures, or whatever have you with others, you click on that icon of attaching. I do not know where it is going to display on your screen, but just look for where it is written attached so that you attach your documents, okay? In most cases, people send empty emails because they would have failed to attach their documents. Let's assume you are applying for a job or for school, you have to attach your CV. So look for that icon wherever it might be on your screen. It has to be there and you have to click on it so that you attach your documents. When your email pops in, let's say you receive a new mail, you may have an indication on that envelope that you have a certain email. So you click on it, then you read your mail. It may appear towards the inbox or on top of your screen. It depends with the computer you are using or the program you are using. Then we have the delete button. This one allows you to delete the unwanted emails. Do not keep your email full. You can always delete the unwanted. So that's the button that you have to click so that you clear your inbox. We also have what is called the junk box. It is also known as the spams. Some people say spams, some people say spams, but whichever way, this is the icon that is so congested with a lot of junk emails. You see, the moment you keep signing up for certain website, certain page, you are likely to have a lot of junk. Some are responses from the website or wherever pages you have visited. So the best thing to do is to clear your junk. If you forget, you are lucky because it always clears itself after 60 days. So you are safe if you forget. There are two most important sections with your email template that you have to know. Because for instance, in the exam, the most important part are the to and subject section. Those two, you have to fill them in. Look at my template there. I'm writing to abiatalpm@gmail.com. And my subject is my new school. Make sure that your subject is as short as possible because you cannot tell the whole story in the subject. Make sure that you fill those two sections. I taught you about the other two sections in case the instructions come saying that you should copy who or you should blind copy who. I also taught you about CC and BCC for your own personal growth. You are going to be a manager somewhere. You cannot keep sending an email to many people one by one. Or if you want to send an important message to one of your organization members, you go to BCC and you know that everything is running smoothly. Now we want to look at how we can write a formal email and an informal email. We are starting with a friendly email, which is also known as informal email. In an exam, you might be given a task which is stating that you started your current grade at a new school. Write an email to your friend, and you should include why you chose that school, the subjects you are studying, your after-school chores. This question is showing you that you are going to write a friendly email. A friendly email because you are writing to somebody that you know. The instructions didn't say copy to somebody or blind copy somebody, but you as a learner, you are so clever and you know that I have to put the email address of the receiver and the subject. So in my case, I've put the email address of the person I'm writing to and the subject, which is my new school. How do we tackle this question? Let's assume we are writing to Susie. So we start with Dear Susie. That is our salutation. That is the person we are writing to. I do not know whom you want to write to. If you want to write to Abiatal, it's fine. So your salutation may read, Dear Abiatal. Your spacing matters. Then you move on to the first paragraph. Your first paragraph has to be greetings and the purpose of writing. It's a friendly email. You can greet your friend, but do not forget to talk about the purpose of your writing. You move on to the second paragraph, whereby you have to discuss the first idea or the prompt. If you are given prompts, for instance, you are lucky because you are given prompts to talk about why you chose that school, then that means in that second paragraph, you are going to talk about why you chose that school. If you are directed by prompts, you move on to the third paragraph where you discuss another idea or a prompt. In your case, you can talk about the subjects you have chosen or the subjects you are studying. This is so easy, especially if you are given prompts. If you are not given prompts, make sure that you discuss the next idea but not repeating yourself. In the fourth paragraph, if you are given prompts, then you have to deal with the next prompt. In your case, the prompt that you are dealing with is your after-school chores. So you see, you are writing so beautifully. You have your paragraphs depending on the ideas. I love writing this way so that I don't get confused and end up repeating myself. You might have another way of writing, but make sure that it doesn't make you write silly things such as repeating one idea over and over. If it's possible, take this method. This way of writing gives you a chance to present a different idea in a different paragraph. So you move on to the conclusion. You end your letter in a friendly manner. I will visit you soon. Hope to see you soon. Greet relatives, whatever you think is appropriate. Do it in a creative manner. And do not forget to end your letter in a friendly way. For instance, you can use your friend Abiatal, with love Abiatal, see you soon Abiatal, or whatever way which is friendly. This is not a formal email, so make sure that you are as friendly as possible. We are moving on to the formal email. Formal email are official emails that you send to people that you don't know. You might get a question saying you purchased school items for your son. Don't tell me that you don't have a son. If you don't have today, someday you may have. So you purchased school items for your son, please assume, okay? From an online shop. After delivery, you realize that what you received is not what you have ordered. Write an email to the shop's management to air your disappointment. Include the description of the items or item you received, why you are disappointed, what you suggest should be done. Before anything, do not forget that the first step when compiling an email is to insert the necessary or the correct information. So you put the email address of the online shop that you bought from there. Then the subject. You as well have to insert the subject or to write the subject depending on what you are writing about. For instance, you can say wrong delivery. Sorry, the Y is missing from delivery there. Or you can say wrong items, or you can choose any of your own subject depending on what you are going to talk about or to discuss in your email. Just ensure that your subject is brief, not too long. How do we tackle this question? It's an email, remember, and it is official. So our salutation is no longer going to be friendly. We have to start with dear sir or madam. You can as well say dear sir only or dear madam. That is if you know the person who is hosting or the owner of that shop. Your first paragraph will not include greetings anymore because we do not greet in the formal email. I do not want to hear, how are you? How are you doing? How is your family? How are the neighbors? No. This is an email which is official, and in your first paragraph, you go straight to the purpose of writing. Why are you writing? You are writing because you received wrong items. So see how best you can articulate or express yourself explaining the purpose of writing. You move on to the second paragraph. In the second paragraph, you discuss the first idea or the prompt that you are given. The prompts have requested you to describe the items you received. Describe them and tell the management of that shop what they have sent to you instead of what you have ordered. So make it clear there through describing. Give a clear description. When you are done with that prompt, you then move on to the third paragraph where you discuss the next prompt. In your case, you were instructed to talk about or to say why you are disappointed. So why are you disappointed? Discuss it. Express yourself with honesty and formality. We know you are disappointed, but do not insult or scold people. Are you guys serious? What the hell did you send to me? Such language is not accepted. People who behave like that, I don't know. I don't want to talk about that. So try to be formal. No matter how disappointed you are, always reason with respect, because your reasoning brings out who you are. And when you are not arrogant, people listen to you better than when you are scolding, you are shouting, you are screaming, you are very angry, you cannot control yourself. You are disappointed, so give your clear points on why you are disappointed, but with good language. In the fourth paragraph, you can discuss the next idea or next prompt. In your case, you were requested to talk about what you suggest should be done. Now, tell the online shop's management that this is what I think has to be done. For instance, you can arrange so that you send back those items which are wrong, then you receive yours which are correct. Suggest a way, a possible way, so that the management is aware that, we have done this, we have to rectify it. But I'm saying in a reasonable language. You move on to the conclusion. You end your letter in a formal manner. This is not friendly, so you may say you look forward to hearing from them. or you will be happy or glad if they respond to you as soon as possible, or you will be glad if they rectify the error. Just conclude in a very formal manner. You are moving to the end of your email, but do not forget to end properly. The formal endings are yours faithfully, yours sincerely, yours truly, and your name. In reality, if you wrote to the person that you know, meaning that your salutation was Dear Madam, or it was Dear Miss Thompson, Miss Abiatal, or Dear Mr. Joseph, that shows that you know that the person you are writing to is a he or a she. So you end by yours sincerely, then you put your signature and name. But since this confuses you, just make sure that you have a proper formal ending. If you have understood it, make sure that when you start your salutation with Dear Sir or Madam, then you end with yours faithfully, your signature, and your name. And if you have started with Dear Sir on its own, or Dear Madam on its own, or Dear Miss Abiatal, then that means you know the person you are writing to, so you end with yours sincerely, your signature and name. Or you can choose to end with yours truly, whichever way you have started with, and then you are done. Before I end off, I just want to say that wherever you are, whichever country you are, whatever side of the planet you are welcome to join Abiatal's class. You are welcome to suggest the topic that you want to be taught. If things are really tough and you want to learn, let's say, English for beginners or for a certain course, you can always reach me. We agree on the payment method because it's obviously going to be a little bit of a payment. Then I coach you on whatever is troubling you. Especially if the curriculum is for secondary phase, it doesn't matter whatever country, I am ready to tackle it. So if you cannot afford, you can always watch the videos for free here. They are on YouTube. You can reach me on other platforms. For instance, on Facebook, you look for English Second Language Lessons, Secondary Phases by Miss P.M. Abiatal. It's easier. You can send me a text or you can write me whatever you want me to respond to you. On YouTube, you look for me on the name stipulated there. On WhatsApp, that is our WhatsApp number. I love traveling. I go different places, but that number is always waiting for you. For now, let me say goodbye. Take care of yourselves. Do not forget to subscribe and do not forget to study. Do not forget that your life matters. Your education matters. So we'll keep learning together. Have a good day. Bye-bye.